little taste of what's to come. Obviously, a game that was played in the EU segment earlier today. Envy went on to win that 16-5, as wild as that sounds. Nico had about 200 ping during that game. So, you know, fair play, had a rough time. Same map, SK versus Splyce. The first map of this series was forfeited by SK, their third forfeit of the season, due to completing matches in another league. So they're going to get started right here in the second map of the two best-of-1 set. And we'll be going live very, very shortly.
Yes, we will. You know, and for SK, Jason, feels like we've been saying this all the time, that it feels like for the last few weeks we've been saying, you know, oh, sure, they've got lots of losses, but they'll pick it up. But, like, surely the window on that starts to expire sometime soon.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, I know they have a lot of games to catch up on. I think they're like 6 behind most of the other teams that are towards the top, 4 to 6 behind, depending on which team it is. But certainly that forfeit that they just had to suffer in map 1 doesn't help anything, and surely they don't really have a lot of losses that they can give up moving forward. It's not going to be a great scenario for them. They're basically in must-win to the end of the season. Yeah,
well, for SK, yeah, this is one of their must-win games. If they don't turn things around soon, it's not even, you know, about making the playoffs now. It's about, you know, the potential of being in that relegation spot.
Well,
I mean, you kind of imagine they wouldn't let themselves get to that point, right? But I mean, they've had a lot of games versus sort of these teams that we'd expect them to win against. They've forfeited 3 of them now. I think the original 2 was them versus like Ghost or something was games that got forfeited as well.
I think it was NRG that they forfeited. Or no, it was Liquid they forfeited. NRG they played with High Ping from Germany.
Yeah, that's the one.
So, well, here's the thing. If any team's you're gonna feel comfortable in relegation, it would be this SK squad. They are hitting the A bomb site, a pretty default standard execute, and both players go down. Smoke, Molotovs, into the bomb site, into the choke points. Exotic now going to push up towards Forklift, and he's taken down by Fur, who does a very good job of holding on against this retake. And a 2-on-4, Sempus is already low. Looking like a round going to go towards the mostly Brazilian squad. This Drone tried to lead the way. This is another team that had roster changes, didn't they? I saw Roka just join Dignitas, who's the team kind of holding the place of the automatic move down. Cutler obviously coming in. So they've had some struggles like most other teams in the North American region.
Yeah, they have. I mean, I think Splyce is going to be feeling pretty wounded, you know, after losing Roka. I mean, like Cutler, you know, he's a good player, but Roka was definitely one of the ones who, you know, not only was like quite a big hitter for this team, but he'd been in the roster for, you know, a very long time. If you recall, Jason, you and I were both there, the Mountain Dew League LAN, early last year. Don't quite recall the exact one. I think it was like 2023, but I don't know.
The one in Leicester.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know they were there, the whole team. I think you know it was minus Exotic plus Mitch. I think at that LAN event.
All right.
But yeah, I mean the roster's been together a very long time, right? And I think that was one of their strong points. So losing Roka, he had a lot of faith in this team. He was friends with a lot of the guys in it, and I think that just kind of shows that maybe this team isn't necessarily working out now. He kind of did make that switch, of course, into that Dignitas roster.
Yeah, well, we'll see what certainly can bring a lot of individual talent. Here's Cutler going to swing into the bomb site, grabs one. And Splyce doing anything they can to hold SK at bay, but it's not going to work. Another bomb plant at the A bomb site. Drone and Semphus again, the 2 players rotating over. Not a whole lot to fight for into this round, as it's surely going to go in the way of SK. Unless there's something incredible that's about to happen, but not very likely. Positioning just too good for SK, so it will be 2-0. SK builds upon the pistol round win.
Yeah, and you imagine SK going to be coming into this one hungry, because obviously they've kind of been starved of any victories as of late. That's what it feels like, at least in both in this league and in the others they've been taking part in. It's been a real struggle thus far.
It's probably been one of the toughest streaks they've had since like late 2015. It feels, where a couple early tournament exits which they're definitely obviously not used to, and then some of the struggles they've had in the online leagues as well, which they've always breezed through relatively easy. Ever since they made the swap to bring, made that roster change right after San Jose in late 2015 to bring in guys like Taco. I believe Cold Zero was already there. Zeus came over as well. So yeah, they've had some struggles. 2-0. AKs and SMGs bound on the SK side, and this should be a much easier round. SK has played a pretty grueling schedule today. They've played, I think, 4 maps over in ECS, and now they've got, well, 1 map here, but that's a lot of official games to be playing so soon after a roster change, all in one night as well. If you come into this and you're having a bad day and things aren't clicking, that could be a nightmare. Now, on the other hand, it obviously gives you a lot of real-time match experience with the new player as well, so there's some benefits there to go along with the negatives.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, you got to feel like it's going to be that much more exhausting now because now they're calling in English. And that's like quite a big change for SK to make, and not being able to just default back to, you know, what you're used to in that regard on account of having Stewie. You imagine that's going to be a bit of a test for them in that regard. Certainly not being eased into this roster shuffle. I think that's good for SK. You know, they're a team that whenever they do get tested, they're very quick to adapt. So into this round over towards B they go. Missed shot from Exotic there. He would have loved to have found that kill, but he does not. That means things are all even right now. It looks like he's going to be nades thrown out early on in towards this B-bomb site. Does tag drone it down to 69. Maybe going to start to work his way up over here in mid. And they've given up a lot of ground over towards A. So while they do start to fall back, SK, they know they have a lot of angles to clear over towards main and Squeaky. So crisscross smokes go out down in mid. Maybe going to find Stewie in through the smoke. Bullet Magnet. We used to call him the... at the time it was the smoke criminal, but this time it's him who gets found.
Ooh, did you not spot that? We saw it clearly, but obviously Smoke sometimes play tricks on you with GoTV, so Fur's going to get an easy one as Davey did not even see it coming. He gets blindsided. Smoke in the way of Semphis. He had a flashbang in his face as well early on, but there's a stack at this B-bomb site. They never actually rotated out, so Exotic is here with the AWP. There goes Drone Semphis coming through the smoke, and all of a sudden they're all dead. That looked like it was going to be a much stronger hold for Splyce, but they just cannot hold SK away.
No, they cannot. And SK are going to be on it to a 4th. That is fantastic stuff for them and for Splyce. It is a pretty devastating result. They found some success early on. Exotic opening up. Davey as well being able to find the kills over in mid. But it doesn't transpire in it to success. So SK will be on to a 4th. And the next round going to be some real economic woes for Splyce to mull over. Imagine with the rifle saved, maybe they force fire around. I think they're on a double eco anyway.
Yeah, probably on that double eco. Maybe, well, they'll have like a light investment. Some players get light armor and CZs, maybe a little bit of utility, but for the most part, they're going to be taking a step back in this one. Buying into the next round. 4-0, you've got Coldzera at 5 kills, 0 deaths, and actually Bolts and Fallen haven't died either as well. So not a whole lot of fragging going on the Splyce side of the table. Early nade going to be out towards highway box. That's brilliant on Exotic. And Drone brought down to 66. Great utility usage by SK. Drone even taking some follow-up damage, and looks like Splyce is trying to lure Fur into a peek. Actually, they don't even let him do it. He's a bit overexposed as he tries to drop out the Molotov, and looks like we're going to get a reverse boost to try and pick up that weapon. Davey going to go up. No one's actually watching this for SK, so this can be deadly. Timing for Davey is everything. When does he choose to move forward? Meanwhile, SK just spread out and waiting. You have Coldzera watching for a mid-push. You had Bolts pressuring over towards B, trying to get some information. You've got Stewie in the door. Fallen obviously in A main through process of elimination. Coldzera going to toss the Molotov out. Waiting for his team to get boosted up. This is where Davey comes into play. He's been waiting here this whole time, and do they check it? Are they aware that it's a possibility? No. Stewie goes down. Davey's still up top, and there's one player beneath him as well, so scary situation for SK, and now the aggression going to start coming in from Splyce. When does Davey try and peek again? Not yet, and he's going to go for the kill in middle. Not able to grab it, but Cutler's gotten 2 kills with the M4, so he's still doing work.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and pick up the bomb. They've got 25 seconds left to work with. Looks like they're going to go ahead and make their way over towards A. Cutler is here. He's already on 2. But there's only 17 seconds left, so SK, they have to move very, very quickly. And he just has to bide time. Every second counts right now. The smoke goes in. Cutler now calls for the rotation. He's going to go ahead and disappear from the site, try to deny the bomb plant. And actually, they think the site's clear. The bomb's gone down, and there's no time. It's going to get dropped. coldzera falls, and Splyce, they will find their first round. Bolts goes down after the time as well. That's pretty devastating if you are SK.
That is what you would call a disaster. Both going down, they misjudged the amount of time it would take you. Even if the plant got put down, it would have been after the timer, and they both fall immediately afterwards. So no bonus money. They had plenty of money built up for a strong buy in this round, but that's going to hurt them moving forward. See coldzera at 650. Good round from Splyce to turn that in their favor. Upgraded pistols. Davey did some work, but it was Cutler with the 2 M4 kills. Put it in their favor. Easy kill for Stewie. Davey caught out in the open, completely blinded. A missed opportunity in connector. Stewie's now got the angle, just holding for the repeak. Misses the shot, but he's put Semphis on notice not to repeak in that same position. Mid control for SK. Minute and 20 seconds they'll be able to manipulate and leverage that. You can see it already beginning. Fur peering up towards highway, towards that A bomb site. Hasn't spotted anyone. Sees the trajectory of the nade coming from the site, and that's Semphis jumping up on top, getting dropped easily. Fur pre-firing for the peak and actually doing great damage. Not able to find that kill somehow. And actually, Cutler is able to survive. That was Stewie, who is partnered up with Fur, who can't get the return frag, but it's surely going to come in any second. Cutler has nowhere to go in 1 HP. Bolts takes off his head. Overkill, perhaps, and Exotic is here with the op. Tough part for SK. They've got to get that bomb into the site. It's unfallen. Smoke is going to allow passage, and when does coldzera lurking in connector? He's waiting for his moment, and it's just now, and Drone is giving up the angle. coldzera still just pausing, and here comes the retake attempt.
Yeah, the timing on coldzera means everything here for SK. It's going to start to creep around. No one's keeping an eye on it, and that's the first man spotted. Exotic will go down, and that leaves Drone in a very awkward spot. Has so many angles to keep an eye on. So coldzera mops them both up on the flank. SK will be in with their 5th.
That's going to be so frustrating for Drone. He was watching for that exact play for a good 20 seconds. Like, he was waiting for it. He knew it was coming, and it just gets to a certain point where you can no longer watch it, where you have to turn your attention elsewhere. And that's when coldzera pounces. I've been in that situation playing against Get Right. It's the same kind of feeling, and you're just like, I feel like I did everything possible to prevent myself from getting killed by the lurker, and then he kills me anyways just because he outpatiences me. That's not even really a word, but you get the idea from it.
Yeah, you imagine it would always be, I mean, at least I imagine it would always be tilting to play versus someone like that. But, well, now for Splyce, they've gone for this partial buy. Drone and Exotic going to be a bit limited into the next round if they do decide to go for it. 3 players for Splyce stacked up over at A. Bomb's not going that way, though. Stewie is here alone. Feels like, you know, from the little bits I have seen, they have him in this kind of lurk role for SK. So he's going to be biding his time over here in school. Fur. Spine out Drone. Semphis now peeks on out. Does manage to get the trade. Maybe a second. He will be able to take bolts down as well. Davey finds Stewie over on A, and suddenly it's just coldzera and Fallen left. This was a partial buy-in from Splyce. They've done fantastic damage. And now they're in with a real shot of retaking this bomb site as well. Fallen will be allowed to get the bomb down. This flank from Davey couldn't come soon enough. It's coldzera up in the vent. That looks to try and shut this down, but he has 2 angles to keep an eye on. Cutler and Exotic split up in the heavens. Ball now drops down, finds Davey, just like that. It's all on Cutler and Exotic. And the USP and a CZ to their name. In spite of all these kills, no weapons picked up. It's going to be tricky. coldzera has the crossfire, a few missed shots. Fallen picks it up in the end. 3 kills for him, and SK onto a 6th round.
That was magnificent from SK. The 2-on-3, Cold just staying in the vents, trusting Fallen to be able to get the site. Kind of gambling a little bit that Splyce is going to bum rush the planter or bum rush out of either of those choke points as soon as Fallen starts putting it down. And then waiting, once he sees there's no flank coming in at a certain time, they just pop flash aim in. He's able to drop out vents, get a free kill, and a great angle to set up a crossfire with Fallen. Really, really well done. 6-1, and we're going to get a timeout from Splyce as they talk things over, trying to put themselves in some kind of a position to actually mount a defense here. That was a pretty harsh reset that they received. We're going to get another save round Into this one it looks, as you can see some pistols already dropped for the upgrades.
Yeah, as you said, they've got the upgraded pistols to work with at least. Early on, gonna see Fallen and Stewie over here towards Squeaky. Davey could get caught out in the open, has to be a bit careful. Here's the door open up, Fallen goes peeking in and Stewie's there. Fallen's gonna open up now. He has the newest recruit, Stewie, here to try and spearhead this offensive if they want to go for it, but well, instead start to fall back.
That's one of those things that SK's been setting up. For a lot of the gun rounds, it's been just Stewie there with the AK-47 making his presence known, and then you switch it over to have them open that door, and all of a sudden the defense has been facing Stewie this whole time. They think they have the ability to maybe cross back and forth or take that fight out in the open, and the op just picks them off. Obviously on a round like this against just pistols, it's not the highest of impact, but a small little switch of the tactics can go a long way. And also, I mean, it's going to put Splyce on notice in the future. They're going to be a little bit more wary for taking those fights when they do get the guns back in their hands. That'll happen in the next round. A clean sweep for SK, building up plenty of money. That round where 2 players died after the time is such a long, long time ago at this point. Fallen and Cole just right beneath 10,000 and everyone else above, you know, 3,100 plus. So at least one more buy, 2 more buys probably built up on the SK side of things behind this one. Double op setup switched into as well for Splyce, trying something new.
Yeah, Sempis has one of them over here at B. He's going to be going toe-to-toe with Fallen. Who wins this fight? Sempis homing down the angle, has to be careful. He's going to go aggressive. There's a danger of getting caught out here. Throws down the smoke, and that will now send them into his crosshair. Stewie is the man to take that shot, and Drone, who is far forward now, left to fend for himself. The nades rain in, and that's going to do a lot of damage. coldzera finds him. Just like that. That man advantage that Splyce tried to pick up early on is stripped away from them. Davey, in the meantime, is pushed up down here in middle. And as a result, he can hear these footsteps. He can hear the players starting to fall back, so he has information on it. Fallen keeping an eye on mid. Does have to be a bit cautious, and coldzera being so far forward in here in checkers gives him such a strong foothold in towards this B-bomb site, but it can be a bit of a double-edged sword if he gets caught out, but that's not the case. He's been able to find Sempis. Now Davey spotted over in middle. You imagine at this point maybe they just go flat in towards that B-bomb site. Only one man here.
Yeah, you definitely do. You could even see Fur really wanted to take that fight, wanted to swing out mid. I think Fallen called him back because Fur had the bomb on his shoulder, so didn't want to commit that crucial part of the offense into that kind of a peak, into that kind of a fight. SK have all the bases covered. 2 players in the site, one underneath the balcony for a nice crossfire. They even have one, I think, that's boosted up in mid. Fur, maybe just an A-man. No, he's not boosted up. He's just watching for the push through the vents. So they've got all bases covered, and Splyce is just going to save this. Not feeling comfortable. They had utility, but when you're not feeling that good in a 3-on-4 to even go for a kill, they called this save very early on. It's never a good sign. They are feeling the heat of just a beat up and busted economy. And Fur is on the hunt now. One player in quad, not peeking. Davey, I think he's in squeaky door. So is Zodic. Fur slowly progressing into the A-bomb site. Now the footstep's going to give it away, but the round timer is over. 8-1. Dominant performance from SK. Wondering what they were going to look like. Obviously, this isn't the this isn't the strongest opponent they're going to face off against. So, I mean, another team that's fresh off Splyce, fresh off some roster change. It's not probably in the best form we'll see them in all season.
Well, in this round, Exotic going to be keeping an eye on mid. Does have Davey at the sandbags to help him out, and that's going to be the kill foul onto Fur. Run out and into the open. He's got exotic fortunes back. Fully flashed and still able to find Cold Zera. Him and Sempis do combined. And while Stewie's gotten out, still doesn't entirely, you know, seem right saying Stewie when you have SK playing.
I like it. It's
no, I like it too, but it is an odd one to say. Because I've been so used to having him tied to, you know, the Cloud9 name for so long.
Yes, that's a bit heartbreaking as an American.
I mean, now there's the potential for the best Brazilian player to be American, you know, so there's always that.
I don't think it works that way. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think that's how it works. Well, Stewie's going to get a free kill, and Zotic is going to just be wondering what the hell just hit him in the side of the face. Bomb is over towards Forklift and coming in. Bolts is aware that the door is potential danger area, and Stewie's going to be able to watch that if and when it opens. But Cutler playing this smart. He knows his teammates are far away, so he's waiting for them to get close before pouncing. If he opens that door, Stewie's not looking in this direction. He is aware it's a possibility. It's all down to timing. Will he be able to find Stewie quick enough to shut that down? Doors open. Stewie hasn't reacted just yet. He's got to get this kill spring. He runs out of bullets, but there's Bolts with the trade, and Drone finds one as well. Bolts in a 1-on-2, 13 HP, 1 kit on Drone. He's got a lot of time. He's got to buy no nades to clear him out. They should know he's here. When does the peek come in? Just now, jumping up though. Drone's going to get it. And Drone has the kit. Sempis has to get off it, and this could be close. I think they're going to have it though.
Yeah, a decent bit of time left. And Splyce with a second round. You imagine if Stewie hadn't been so unfortunate there so as to run out of ammo, it would have been a very different story. What's this smoke? Where's this going? Onto highway. So yeah, it's a fun one. Be sure to repeat that.
Perhaps a next Rushley Hey Future Pros video.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of them.
Hey Future Pros. Stewie going for the timing shot with the AWP. Had the good spawn for it. Gonna get tossed over. Looking for his AK-47. Panicking. He's already got it. Cutler down very, very low. He was in mid. I'm not sure what hit him, to be honest with you. That's a nice shot from Drone. Bolt swings in, even pre-fires the boost, but immediate headshot in response. As the smoke fades, Fallen's going to get a chance. 2 players in checkers now, though. That Molotov, oh, it's going to wreak havoc. Sempis, he's got nothing to shut this down, and this missed shot is going to save his life. Oh, right through the wall. I spoke too soon. Fallen goes back for more, and he finds it. We've seen that spam a couple times. That is very nice from Fallen, just crossing your fingers, pulling the trigger, and it works out. One more to find in checkers. He knows Drone is around somewhere. Meanwhile, Cutler has been cleaned up on the other side of the map, and Drone is just way too afraid to move.
Yeah, I think, you know, justifiably so with all the footsteps he heard, but now all he hears is that bomb running for the hills as it heads over towards the A-bomb site. They've got it locked on down, a Drone 1v4. It's not meant to be. So that will be a 9th round for SK. They take one back, and on the back of that as well, they're going to be resetting the economy of Splyce. They're going to be feeling very, very happy. Drone, if he holds onto this, gives them that much more to fight with into the next round. You know, maybe they partial buy down around it. But
it's a lot of time he's got to hold on to this weapon, and they're already pretty close, pretty hot on his heels, and surely they clear this being one of the more popular save avenues, and I think it's going to be Cold Zera that spots him out here. Maybe even seen him already as the dots are starting to speed up in this direction. Yeah, Cold Zera is going to peek it. He gets his head taken off. Another nice shot from Drone, but there's so many more players he's got to burn through, and it's not going to happen with Stewie. And you're right, that is the second time we've seen a pretty harsh reset on Splyce. Just as they're able to take one round, they can't build upon it. Back to just pistols.
yeah, it's a pretty terrible situation to be in. Just because Exotic, he's the man he'd love to see on the AWP, and he's got the least amount of money. Though I don't think they can drop one over either. So they're going to be stacking all 5 players inside this B-bomb site. Just USPs and a P2000 on Davey. Because he does not conform. SK stacking up outside the B-bomb site. Maybe if they go in, there's some damage here. But look at this, though. A warm huddle of players all together. This is what Splyce have to do through these harsh SK winters that have come in. You know, times are tough. And that heat from the Molotov going to provide some not so welcome warmth. There's already players in CT. This is, yeah, they know what's going on. They know it's on B.
They are stat padding.
Oh, there we go. One. That's actually it. He only gets one. Oh, make that a second. Okay, go on, Fur. Keep on mopping them up. Bolt Zero does go down, but Fur is there at the end. Him and Bolts, 4 between them, just like that. SK onto a 10th round. And yeah, just a stat pad around.
Yeah, they are just all trying to increase the scores, aren't they? You rarely see that. Just the lone bomb carrier going over towards the A bomb site, everyone else heading towards B to get the frags. 10-2. One more save for Splyce as losing bonus wasn't built up. 5 nades, though. You imagine they'll nade the boost, I would imagine. No, actually, towards teammate to try and get the opera. It's not going to happen. SK hears all the HE grenades explode, and unfortunately, they're not in any kind of real position to take advantage of that. They're hustling over towards this A bomb site. 2 players in door. That's Stewie and Fallen. Flashbang into A main. Davy's going to swing in, and Fur's just chilling there with his hand over his eyes. The goggles do nothing. And Fallen is going to grip Cutler. He's going to follow up on Semphis as well. Just one in A main to deal with. It's Davy, but he's being a nuisance. Cracking the smoke, and actually Davy somehow finds that as well, and now SK all of a sudden are going to be put on the back foot. Stewie's got a 1-on-2 to win, and he is surrounded, trying to keep one player pinned in. Nade out, massive damage onto Exotic. Drone hasn't come in to help him try and clean this up. He's sneaking behind. Molotov going to be out. A lot of utility being used for this one kill. He does eventually get it, and Stewie, he's got to go find the bomb, but he's making sure there's no more aggression in front of him. Well, meanwhile, Drone is now in position with the AK-47. He needs to hit this shot, and he does. It's clean. It's a 3rd round for Splyce.
Yeah, we're feeling quite happy about that as well, because now they can get the AWPs out between Exotic and Semphis. Now, double AWP hasn't really done all too much, it feels like, but Semphis and Exotic are players who can do very well with these AWPs. You know, Exotic being the main AWP, Semphis then coming in as the secondary, but he went through that kind of stint in his career where he was AWPing for some time, so he's no stranger. And that's a kill picked up onto Bolts, and there we go. That double AWP setup kickstarting this round for Splyce, as it feels like it's finally had a chance to have an impact.
One of the best starts perhaps Splyce has had during this whole half. 5-on-4. SK again, just in that default to start things out. Now everyone heading over towards this A bomb site. The nade does good damage. Ship damage on Exotic and Cutler. Brings him down pretty low. It won't be a split, though. No one's coming up highway. Molotov smokes in all the choke points. This bomb site is under heavy attack, and both players in the same position. This could be a disaster for Splyce as they turn the corner. Cutler's got to find that kill, and he does. No one to follow it up. Stewie just there, and the op going to hold strong at the off angle. Semphis gets there in time to pick off Fallen as well, and now Stewie's got to try and make this work. He still just has one opponent isolated in the site. Flashbang going to force him to the other side, but the footsteps give away his play. Stewie tries to find something, and Semphis shuts him down to the corner of the box. 4 players survive, and Splyce win 2 in a row for the first time this half, and have an opportunity to get to 5-10.
Yeah, that's not that bad a scoreline, all things considered. I mean, this was 10-2 at one point in time, Jason. You know, it's been a nice recovery in that regard from Splyce, and as a result of doing damage in these last few rounds, SK don't have all the utility they could want, but they're not too limited. Leon Fur going to be peeking into mid. It's smoked back. Exotic is there. Wallbang being used. Oh, that shot. That is not one that Exotic should have missed. That's going to lead to Davies' demise, and that's opened up mid. Fur will take that all day long. And now he's repositioned. That's Semphis. He's going to get one, but Fallen gets him in through the wall. That's why they call him Wallen.
Do they call him that?
Occasionally.
He's got a lot of nicknames, doesn't he?
He is a man of many nicknames. He's a man of many talents.
Yeah. Exotic inside this A bomb site all alone with an op as well. Not the most wieldy of weapons to have to monitor multiple different angles. He's got to worry about door, he's got to worry about A main, and he's got to worry about highway. Cutler is leaning in this direction to try and help out. He'll be at truck. He can get smoked off. At the moment, though, SK not giving up their play. There is a flank coming in. Drone has pushed all the way through B, and he's going to be in mid. I don't know if he hears this player in checkers, but he's certainly calling Cutler over, who's starting to lean in that direction. But all the meanwhile, the main emphasis is going to be at this A bomb site. And Drone is kind of frozen because he has no idea. And SK as well. The B bomb site is clear, so they're rotating back, but Drone could actually destroy all of this. He is in perfect position. 18 seconds left on the clock. If he stops the bomb here, which he should be able to do, and that's it, that's going to be the round most likely. Fallen's got to do everything. He's got to hustle to get back to find that kill. Even if he does, I don't think he can make it with the bomb. He's picked it up, and he goes down immediately. Nice push from Drone. Solves all the problems. And that will be a 5th for Splyce as they somehow eke it out and give a competitive scoreline moving forward.
Yeah, 5-10 at the end of the first half. A fantastic play from Drone at the end there to lock that one in. Of course, it was a very, very dominant start for SK. But it's quickly started to turn against them. And SK, it feels like, you know, they've kind of inherited this inability to close out games. You know, that's kind of what we saw in a lot of their performances, at least tonight. And, you know, obviously not here.
Yes.
But, you know.
So early going as well. These are the first officials with this new lineup for SK, so struggles on some maps. I think Inferno was the one where they had the 2 massive comebacks.
Well, speaking of massive comebacks, we might be seeing one of those from Splyce here. They would love to see it. I would love to see it. And, oh, Fallen's over in mid. There is a player boosted up in the form of Semphis.
3-man stack for SK over towards the A bomb site. This could be SK out positioning themselves. Obviously just a call out of CT spawn, but they're pretty committed to it with not a whole lot of pressure. That means coldzera. I mean, who better to just anchor a bomb site and see what he can find you? He'll have at least a 1-on-3, depending on how Fallen plays mid, and he's backing away. So you imagine at least one player going to be coming through vents. Fallen now starting to cheat over towards B, but I don't think it's going to be fast enough. I think they're going to turn the corner before that. Davey has a smoke flash. He's here with the bomb, going to put that out. One coming through vents as well, but Fallen is at least up top, so he can help out, but they need some headshots. They need some quick kills. Not coming in just yet. There's one from Fallen, and coldzera, he's taken out immediately. Fallen does more, though. He gets a second kill and eventually is traded down, but a 3-on-3. The kit is up top as well, so SK will at least have that for the retake.
Yeah, Fur is going on a very lengthy rotate, though. That could cause some problems. Or it could be a blessing. Stewie and Bolts, they have to try and make their way back into this site until the relief from Fur does arrive. Stewie peeking on in, now starts to creep forward. Semphis going to pick him up, though, and just like that, it's Fur and Bolts. 2 versus 3, man advantage up in favor of Splyce. And Semphis onto a second. Ooh, that's a quick flick from Fur, but Semphis is relentless. So he gets 3 at the end. The hat-trick as Splyce lock in the pistol round.
I think Bolts actually shot at the dead body, kind of gave it away. I don't know if there was a great chance for the retake before that anyway, but okay. So SK lose the second half pistol round. All of a sudden, Splyce can be right back into this. There is one buy that they have to get through first. 2 CZs, P250, Deagle, and coldzera. Now we know Fallen can do some work with that scout. That's going to be in connector. Utility being thrown out early by Splyce, perhaps just to get some kind of a response from SK, but they're going to hold their nerve at least for now. And look how passively Splyce is playing. Exotic out in A main. He doesn't want anything to do with any kind of a pop flash push or peek. Just shoulder spotting. He did see Fur and he backs away.
Splyce are playing this very, very, very passively. But it always scares me a bit. You know, this is normally a situation where we see teams play themselves. They're setting up to go towards this A-bomb site. SK have started to rotate Fallen onto truck. He's got the scout. I always think he is the most dangerous man in this server when he has that weapon. And now they're going to start to back away from A. And it's this back and forth. You know, Splyce are kind of in their own head at this point. They're going to start to double back over towards B. And the footsteps were heard. You can see Fallen starting to make his way on over. It looks like Fur was toying with the idea of being aggressive into main, and he's going to now go for it.
They've got a pretty decent crossfire set up, though, behind this smoke. And actually, Splyce, they're readjusting again. They want to go through mid up towards the A bomb site. There's no room for error on this. Fallen is going to be able to get into position, and now you're going to see coldzera start flanking as well. Any damage that can be inflicted on this passage in would be huge. Fallen with the peek, doesn't get any tags. There's one kill from Bolts. He's got to use the whole magazine, though, and Fur goes down on the site, and that's going to allow the plant. Splyce pull it out last second. They're able to find it. Look at how low Cutler is, though, and Semphis as well. Just a very narrow margin of victory this round for Splyce.
Yeah, it's going to be a 7th round regardless. And that one panning out, I think, you know, shows that Splyce, they're feeling pretty confident because there was a lot of room for things to have gone wrong for them there. Exotic going to go down at the end. Maybe another, actually. Semphis tries to leave. Stewie shuts him down as well. So they do find a lot of damage onto these players trying to get away. Ooh, that's a bit messy. Davey just goes back to check on the bomb. Just like that, going to be a 7th round for Splyce. Now 7-10. Stewie has the scout and armor carried forward. Going to throw the scout over to Fallen and then use his Deeg. So they still have a decent means of inflicting some damage in this round.
Well, a whole lot, and you got to say props to Splyce staying in this one. Despite, I mean, remember the first half score was looking dire. There was a round where SK was just straight up frag hunting everything. So certainly Splyce has been able to put them on notice. Fight back a little bit into it. There's going to be a lot of players for SK here at this A bomb site, though, when this hit comes in. Stewie's the initial contact with that deagle. Fallen is over at B, but all the rest of the pistols are coming up highway now to be able to try and slow them down. They just don't have any nades. They don't even have flashbangs, and it should be Drone coming in for the slaughter. UMP in hand, still alive. Everyone's blind. Fallen with 1 kill. Stewie gets involved in the action, but it's too little too late. Bomb site is lost. Fallen's just got to drop away. This MAC-10's going to go hunting. The SMGs are there. And they've done it. Splyce have taken the first 3 rounds of this half, and they're within striking distance. Investment for SK into this round, but because they bought on the second, they're going to be missing some of that utility. Fallen Scout really hurting him in this round. He has head armor, he's got a kit, but he's got nothing else. Very, very light on the nades.
And this is where maybe you start to get a bit worried for SK because they're going to have to win a few in a row before they break this Splyce economy and then start to chain together more rounds. And theirs is once again on the brink. And this lack of utility could very much come back to punish them. Now Stewie is close here to this smoke. He has coldzera to back him up, but the flash goes here to Drone. That was very, very fast. He's going to go ahead and butt heads with coldzera. Ooh, turns back around. He's onto a second. That Molotov going to bounce off the Fallen. That sends him out from the heavens. And Drone, sure, he goes down, but it's 3-on-4 in the retake. And once again, Fur very isolated from this on this flank round. Splyce going to find a 9th as SK just submit and they go ahead and save.
Yeah, Fallen's already backed away. He backed away real quick when that bomb site was lost. Wanted nothing to do with it, even with the kit. They don't have any nades to make this retake work. So yeah, they're just going to sit this round out. And it'll be interesting to see if they invest in the next one. I think they'll have, what, 2,900 on the losing bonus. Davy's on the hunt, though, and every gun is going to matter for SK. Fur is letting him pass into the last possible second to give up his positioning. There's the tap, and he does eventually get it. There's perhaps some of that head dink animation that we all love. How aggressively do they want to hunt him down? He's on his own. Fallen's nowhere nearby to help out. Molotov really restricting where he can stand, and one player jumping across. Cutler kind of baiting out the shots from Fur for his eventual demise. Nice work from Drone. Good headshot dropping off the box, and then even coldzera. This is a uncharacteristic miss from coldzera. He gets the dink initially, and all the bullets after that go sideways. 10 nons. Splyce on the verge of equalizing the score. This not able to find that kill. Good frag from Fur, but he's down so low. Might want to pass that M4 on to Stewie. Or Fallen, one of the players with armor and more HP.
Splyce, they're still focusing on middle. Trying to peek on into it, the Molotov to force anyone out of vents. There was no one there for SK. Now turning their attention over towards main. Fallen chipped away and forced off of the box in mid. Now up into the site, and they've actually got to have flushed all three players from SK into this A bomb site. And now, as this push looks to come on through, we have the Deeg of Fallen here. Bolts on an M4 and Fur with the CZ. So one rifle, two of these upgraded pistols to try and make a stand as Splyce prepare this offensive. Fallen gets caught off guard up close, and as a result, that is now what they look to base this play on. And Bolts has to make a stand with the only M4 here. He's over on the forklift, he picks up one. He's going to go back in for more, and actually, they do line up for him, but Cutler is the man of the hour. coldzera now 1v2. Starts to creep on in. Davey finishes him off. Splyce going to go 10 to 10. All tied up with SK. And this is kind of scary. This is not the debut I think that SK were hoping for with this new look roster.
Yeah, I think SK's got their eyes on the bigger prizes, right? They're looking for the tournaments that they're going to be headed to, but still, you would expect against a Splyce that they would have come into this and thinking maybe not like just run all over them, but have a much easier time of things. They've certainly gotten busted up a little bit here. It was 10 to 2 at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. It's been 8 rounds in a row for Splyce, which is just madness. Why not? Stewie and Vents, coldzera in checkers with an AWP. Double up setup coming out for the CT side. Fallen is going to be over towards A, which allows a lot of mobility, a lot of focus on mid. Stewie, what a timing on that peek. Semphis has Molotov in hand. It actually blocks any teammates from helping him. Molotov is extinguished by smoke that plumes in the perfect place as well. Fallen still not tested. Neither is coldzera over towards B, and Stewie's actually pushed up in mid, so he's got plenty of information of what's coming. Bolts can start cheating over. Not a whole lot of utility for this defense, though. One coming door, 3 going to come through main, and Fallen has got to find the timing with these flashbangs coming out. Looks away. Not going to re-peek, allowing his teammates to come over and get set up. Still, Splyce hasn't committed here. They want to go for a peek on the head, maybe a run boost of some sort. Here's Fallen, though. That's too quick for Drone to handle in the op. Exotic wasn't set up to defend against it, and Fallen just has to wait in this corner. He's got an angle. They have to take him out. And that positioning is going to allow his teammates to come over and really set up a wall that Splyce simply cannot cross. Re-peek again, and the op is just ringing true. And Exotic not able to get involved in the action. 3-man for Fallen as he finds all the kills.
Yeah, Fallen has kind of been the one saving grace for SK in a lot of these rounds. And that one was no exception. Double up set up in play. Him and coldzera are going to be donning them. He has a good spawn for mid or for A, and it looks like we might maybe see some aggression in towards A main from Fallen. That's going to be made that much more likely as there are 2 players here to help him out. Smoke goes down for main. He peeks into Squeaky, and there is Cutler here, keeping an eye on it early on. Fallen just holding down the angle, Cutler waiting. And it's just a standoff here in Squeaky.
No one from Splyce really challenging anywhere. Everyone sat far back. Slower paced round from them. Taking the caution of not wanting to get picked off early. The reset here, if Splyce is able to return the favor and win this round, would be a disaster for SK. There goes Fur. Opening kill from Davey. That's in mid. He was the only one here, despite some early presence. coldzera still over at B. Fallen does find Cutler eventually in the door, and here comes this hit onto the A-bomb, so they're actually splitting it, but Fallen has disappeared into the doorway. He can stay alive for a very long time. Good nade onto the players coming up highway. Davey, Drone, and Semphis all taking damage, but the frag goes the way of Splyce. Now, oh, Drone, the crouch peek. It looked like he wanted to throw the Molotov, but he decided against it. I thought that'd be the end, but he manages it so very well. coldzera with the op looking for a kill somewhere, but no one showing themselves. And SK, I said the reset would be a disaster, and they've got to save these guns. Another round for Splyce, 11 to 11. And the question becomes, what is SK, what are they able to bring into the next round, and do they even want to buy into it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think there's like a right call to make there, because they could go for the buy. I think, you know, Coldzera could throw a rifle over. Stewie could drop something as well, so they could have, you know, 4 weapons in play with on an upgraded pistol, or you just go for the eco and then you kind of bank on being able to, you know, have a big run with the full buy behind you. Try and use the AWP and the M4 to the fullest. But even then, actually, I mean, they're onto, you know, almost double eco territory anyway to actually get a good buy. So you imagine, yeah, they're going to force up with what they've got. Stewie's able to drop a FAMAS, but instead he goes for the scout. That's going to go ahead and get thrown over, you'd imagine, to Fallen. And yeah, Coldzera's going to keep the AWP. So the force buy isn't that bad. They have a decent bit of utility as well. They can be fairly happy with that.
It's just a really risky time to have this be your purchase. A lot rides on this round. Definitely for who's going to hold the reins of this match in the later stages. And I don't know. Ooh, there it is. It's showing. Zotic gets the tag onto Coldzera. Just barely spots out a couple pixels. Coldzera couldn't see anything in response. Stewie behind this box is going to be able to take out one. Drone falls. Attempting to find Coldzera hiding behind the box. Another smoke in the choke point, and Coldzera somehow gets out of the way. Stewie actually gets aggressive, which may be saving his life as the moment. Although Sempus dropping out of vents, able to take him. A dink comes out, but not the kill. Fallen is here with the scout. A scout and an AWP to hold the bomb site. And there's Fur. Is that a spam? Did he just say? I think he did just spam him right through. That's not bad. The angle going all the way towards main. Coldzera finds one more. He's down to 18 HP, but still fighting. And Splyce just throwing bodies at the problem, and it's not working. Cutler and Zotic, and there's 3 players here for SK.
Yeah, now the question becomes, do they keep going with this offensive? They've put so many resources in to trying to secure this B bomb site. Do they give it all up now? There's still Fallen and Coldzera here. And a Molotov on Cutler will cause some problems for the 2 players inside this site. Coldzera, though, going to shut down Exotic as he comes up trumps in the duel of the AWP there. In towards the B bomb site. Cutler 1v4. Latest addition to this Splyce roster. Going to go peeking on into this. Finds the first onto Fur, but he's been tagged very low, and Coldzera will complete the hat-trick. 3 massive kills for him as he steps up massively there for SK. And that was a must-win round, really, for the Brazilians.
It was.
American squad. No.
It really was a must-win for them. It feels like, certainly not so much the same for Splyce, because they have this one more buy. I mean, this time, if they run out of money at this stage in the game, it gets dire. But still within striking distance, and still SK hasn't built up a whole lot of money. 2 players down at 0, Stewie and Fur at 750. So, I mean, SK not out of the woods just yet, still clawing and keeping and grinding into this game. Just barely maintaining a lead. Good damage done to Sempus and Drone by that nade. And a boost is going to come in. It's the UMP going up top. Not the most efficient weapon at times. Could get awkward. Fur is partnered up here at Forklift. This is going to be an A hit the whole time. Davy's still back in spawn. And Bolt's just waiting. Plenty of flashbangs from Splyce that he'll have to dodge when it eventually comes in. Smoke for the cross. And here it comes slowly but surely. Another smoke plumes in A main, though, and that might actually seal the fate of Splyce. This is going to be so difficult coming through this smoke. Bolts hasn't seen anything yet, but thankfully Fur has. And now Bolts can try and get involved, but he's not getting up his position until he knows he can have the kill. That's an easy one. The follow-up onto the AWP as well. All 5 players gone from Splyce. They don't make very much progress at all. They do find Fur. That's just not enough. And they've got no more road to play with.
Yeah, now it's an awkward spot to be in. I mean, they're at least kind of gifted the fact that, you know, when they buy into this next round on the back of the eco, at least, you know, it's not the match point scenario whereby it's like, you just keep force buying to the end of the game. They have got that 1 round buffer. But those nades early are going to be able to pick up Sempus. 3 players over in Squeaky. All heading on in. Furs on at Forklift. He caused some real problems for them in the previous round, and he looks to try and shut it down in this one as well. Maybe going to go peeking into main. It's there. Now you imagine the push comes in to try and catch Fur with his back turned, but Bolts is there to help him out, and between them, they lock down the A-bomb site. 14 to 11. Now the buy comes in for Splyce. It's going to be rifles across the board. No AWP out for Exotic. They might try a faster play, you know, considering that's their scenario right now, especially when you look at the kind of limited utility that they have.
Especially because we haven't seen too many of these slow tactics work. I mean, this was 11-11. It's been 3 rounds in a row for SK. That was a big round to have all 5 players survive because SK Gaming essentially set for at least 2 in terms of their money. They've struggled with it at times throughout this half, so no better time in the game than round 26 to finally get all the money you need secured beneath you. Look at this angle. I'm going to walk right into the op shots. The bomb down. Fallen wants to challenge for that as well. He doesn't want to give it up easy. Another off angle. Smoke coming in, and actually that's going to obscure his vision just enough for him to fall away. Bomb is retrieved from Splyce. SK is going to be all right with that, and no presence anywhere else on the map. 4 players leaning towards this A bomb site. Splyce have really boxed themselves into a corner. And you can see they have to fall back and kind of boost someone up to try and create a new angle on this attack, but SK's reading this. Fur's watching for it. Even Stewie was here as well.
Yeah, now they've only got 40 seconds, and as you said, they're trying to get themselves out of the corner. They put themselves in. Fur's holding close in mid. That's a nice quick flick round from Davey. But now Bolts has rotated out onto the highway. He also has fallen here with him. Stewie going to be able to drop the bomb. It was on the back of Semphis. Bolts then picks up Davey, the danger man, up close. And Exotic going to be kicking himself because the smoke missed the Molotov. And now he can't push it out in the middle. Everyone else is dead. And it's all pretty bad for Splyce here, really.
Might not be the worst thing in the world that Smoke actually missed the Molotov because they're going to need this AK-47 into the potentially last round of this map. 15-11 it's going to be for SK, and that's been spotted out as well. I think they're going to go for this. That op shot. Oh, he gets stuck. Still somehow gets away. Wants to go back for more. Flashbang works, but so does Fallen's op.
Yeah, 15-11. It maybe seems like normality has been restored. We came into this expecting SK to win, and they seem poised to do just that. 4-round comeback will be needed for Splyce to force OT. And they've, well, force brought down what they can. It's upgraded pistols, a Galil for Cutler. Not the #1 buy that they need. And they'll be heading over here towards B. 2 players lie in wait, Coldzera and Stewie. Fur's already gone ahead and found Semphis over a middle. Now man advantage up in favor of SK. And Splyce trickling into this bomb site. Or about to, rather. As that smoke now fades. But already 3 players here for SK. Fallen's up close in mid. Coldzera and Fergo peeking into it. They're going to take the fights to Splyce. And just like that, Cutler and Davey left. 2 versus 5. 1 minute and 5 seconds on the clock. Fur will be found. But the bomb is down, and Stewie is just going to be keeping an eye on that with Coldzera all day long. Ooh, that's a nice shot from Davey, actually, maybe, but Stewie. Okay, there was an awkward transition there at the end, but regardless, SK, they pick it up.
Yeah, they do, and it wasn't necessarily easy. Splyce had them all tied up at, what was it, 11-11, I believe it was at one point, and then they rattle off 5 in a row, but still, SK had to really grind that one out, which is something they've always been good at, but at one point, that was 10-2, and a really nice run from Splyce. So seeing some positives out of them, even with Cutler coming in, that another roster change in the NA teams. But I don't know. Convinced?
Convinced.
Of the SK brought thing?
I think that's one way to put it, Jason. Are you convinced?
No.
Okay, well, there you go. We'll be checking back in with them tomorrow.
That's all for me.
You guys aren't allowed to leave? I mean, you are, but see you later. With that, we've got to talk about this. SK Splyce. We saw the first map go handedly in the way of Splyce.
It's too good.
It was too good. Unbelievable scoreline there. 16-0, of course, due to a forfeit loss on the half of SK. They were tied up in another match, but they did beat, excuse me. They did not meet the deadline. I don't know why that was such a tough one for me. I think that early.
A lot of words are getting tough here.
Listen, it's early in the morning here, and I think my brain is shutting down. But to comprehend it all, I have both of you here to try to make some sense of what we just watched on Cash.
Yeah, no, again, it started looking like business as usual, really, to start things off. First look at SK with Stu in the lineup, and yeah, as Jason and Harry mentioned, they got off to like a 10-2 start. really, before Splyce managed to close out to 10-5 half. And honestly, at that point, it felt similar to what we saw in the Renegades matchup earlier today, where one team gets up to a pretty significant lead, kind of lets their gas off the pedal for foot off the pedal for a little bit.
No, you had me confused.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Gas on the pedal. Shit.
It's next level stuff.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. No, but yeah, so it kind of felt like SK took it a bit easy there, but Splyce did a really good job actually of just playing their, after winning Pistol in the second half, to play their into ecos rather safe and actually taking advantage of every opportunity they were given, because obviously, again, you're going up against a team that's significantly better than you, so you have to take every opportunity you get, and they did so pretty decently.
And I feel like a lot of their well-hit shots can be, well, how can I say this? Thanked by ESEA for the 128 tick servers that they're playing on. That's right, they are hitting their shots because of all the ticks that they are able to use over at ESEA. Isn't that right, Pim?
It is definitely right, Trace.
Thank you so much. Well, SK Gaming do pick up a win here, and, well, before that, Splyce had a pretty easily, handedly, you know, it's going to help them in the long run, I think. It's one of those weird things. Also putting SK on the back foot, because now, should they have to forfeit again, it's a rough one for them.
They're currently 4-8 in the league, and I think that's the big takeaway point from this one. We can talk about how SK did not really impress us and how we're not really sold on the idea with Stu 2K yet. It is online games, early stages. We need to see more, so nothing really to judge out from. But we see the scorelines from the day here today, and we can see, you know, Liquid picking up the 2-0 win. Nothing really much to talk about there. Same goes on for Renegades, and then SK, you know, 4-5 losing to Splyce. That's why it's 16-0 right there. But the match they did play was a win, 16-11. It puts them to 4-8 in the current standings right now, which is the big takeaway from this one, that SKs are by now really pressured of not making the playoff, and that would be a huge disaster. So SK from now on pretty much have to win out all the game. They can afford to lose one, I believe, maybe even two, depends on the results. But if they lose more than that, they will be out of the Pro League playoff finals, which would be a huge disappointment considering they are the reigning champions right now.
Imagine playing them in the Mountain Dew League. Insanity.
That would be fun.
That would be pretty interesting to watch.
You see that? You see, like,
frag videos galore. But let's take a look at the EU side of things. And Halvor, I want you to walk me through what you see over here on the mainstream.
You know what? I'll start off the top. I'll be nice like that. So yeah, we saw FaZe squaring off against Envious and actually splitting maps. So FaZe with a new look exists playing for Olafmeister. Not necessarily getting off to the hottest start, but getting there in the end at least. NIP taking 2 wins off of Na'Vi. So that new lineup is getting their stuff together. And then we saw North, who came up with a really, really poor showing at Copenhagen Games, at least showing that they do have the means to deal with the French side of G2 with the 2 wins there. And over on the secondary stream, we saw Mouse Sports splitting maps versus Hellraisers. Same thing for Astralis, who were previously undefeated in the league up to that point, actually dropping a map versus HGO, the Polish side, so that's pretty impressive of them. And to close things out, LDLC actually getting a 2-0 victory, both in OT versus Heroic.
So eloquently said. In fact, for my firstborn, will you please read them a children's book? Thank you. We'll come back to that one later. Let's look at tomorrow's match day. Number 14, can you believe it? We've made it this far, and we've still got a little ways to go. Optic SK on the docket first, followed by a little bit of Dignitas Cloud9 action, and then Energy Liquid. I think the Energy Liquid one has some pretty good showing on their end.
So do the Optic SK. I think it's going to be a very interesting match.
Super big game.
Very explosive type of players, you know, pretty much all over the team. So it should be great.
Well, take a look at the European side of things because they come on before we do. Envious G2, North FaZe, and of course Fnatic and Space Soldiers over on the mainstream. Then there's a secondary stream. They do whatever they want over there. But on the mainstream, of course, that crew will be back with you earlier on in the day today, which it is now 6 o'clock. With Harry.
Yeah.
He's doing a double shift.
All the NA guys are chipping in, helping out EU.
I'm glad that we could all come together for something. And with that, let's call it a day here at the Xfinity Analyst Desk. We're done with you guys, and we'll be back tomorrow for match day number 14. Make sure you're here with us at the same great time, same great place right here on this Facebook stream. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you then.